Vice reporting on this. I talked about it a few days ago, and they're like, well, we're saying this is a scenario that could happen with future trends. And I showed you in the Ministry of Defense and the Pentagon reports from 2006 and 2007, they predicted by this year and next year, a 10-year trend would start for global collapse with most governments overthrown if they didn't clamp down and get control, with food prices exploding. Then I went into how the globalists are orchestrating those collapses at the same time. So this is kind of how they put it out to the public. Oh, it's a scenario with a bunch of governments in NATO and the World Bank and IMF of 395% food price spikes over the next decade that will cause governments to collapse. And thank God FEMA and all these agencies are here to keep us safe. From crop failure to system failure. While they incentivize from Brazil to the United States, from Germany to Ukraine to Japan, to turn corn into ethanol and to destroy not just the food, but the food chain delivering us that food. Because they planted GMO crops that others wouldn't accept to set the precedent to have those crops everywhere. And they believe their global revolution against humanity will be somewhat complete by 2027. That's when the crisis ends. And then 2030 comes in, Agenda 2030, and that is the exterminism program. And when you know what you're reading, when you read this FEMA report, because then we can back it up. I have a special report coming up later today where I index all of this with the documents for you. You might want to listen. It's so epic. I just cannot believe this. These people are out of control. Look at this one. This is inside a secret government warehouse prepped for health catastrophes. And then I have another one here that's up on Infowars.com today dealing with what's the government preparing for. Michael Snyder, you may not be getting prepared for a major national disaster, but the government is. And he goes through all the links where they're preparing, and NPR's reporting on the bunkers and the food and the hazmat suits and the body bags at a level many times what it's ever been before. Is it Yellowstone's going to blow? Mount St. Helens? That overdue California quake? I don't know, but this stuff happens. We have such goldfish memories, though, people don't remember. But I believe it's all a cover for an economic collapse. And you have the Army publicly hiring resettlement specialists, 2010, classified, declassified 2013. And people couldn't believe our article for a week. It was linked to Army.mil. And then the Army later said, we accidentally declassified it on our website. No, a patriot leaked it. Just like they accidentally declassified Operation Northwoods 9 months before 9/11. If you don't know what Operation Northwoods is, folks, I would look it up. But for this point, I've got to move on for folks that didn't miss the earlier courses on reality. All I know is I put in more solar generators at my house today, the very ones we sell at InfoWarsStore.com. They're the very best, highest quality units out there you're going to find anywhere. Just go find them. They're there at InfoWarsStore.com. I put in storable food for a few months for each crew member of this operation in our warehouse. I'm going to up that to like 3 or 4 months. I'm getting medical supplies. I'm getting other communication systems and a communication specialist to be able to communicate via shortwave and ham radio, just in case, because they're planning in the final revolution to bring in a worldwide extended depression, and we need to be on the air during that as long as possible. Now, I don't think it's going to be super intense in some areas. They have some cities that are somewhat controlled and are safe havens for the globalists. Austin has been designated as a quasi-safe haven. Power is guaranteed to the downtown, Capital District, and Tarrytown as a COG, continuity of government program, just like certain districts in Maryland around Site RR. So I have moved in, again, back into the city to run operations right on the border with their sites. And that's how serious our COG is for the InfoWar. I mean, this is a organic military operation against the globalists. That's what we're doing here. We're Americans. We're 1776. Of course there'd be a resistance. We're it, folks. You're it, the listeners. Our affiliates. This isn't a game. People just got to finally understand. I'm not up here trying to sound sensational. Reality is sensational. And in closing, it's a win-win. We get the highest quality storable foods that are clean and healthy and good at the very lowest prices you're going to find. And then the profit we make funds the information war. It's a 360 win. If you're not buying your shortwave radios and your solar systems and your gravity-fed filters and your survival supplies and your Hillary for President shirts at InfoWarsStore.com, you are not putting your money where it's going to have the biggest effect, and you're not getting the highest quality products because we neurotically, we treat you, it's beyond superstitious. It's the way the universe works. I will not screw over anybody that hasn't done something to me. In fact, I'll step around somebody that screwed me over just to move on. I'm not even a very vengeful person. I used to be a little bit more. But, I mean, here's the deal. It is metaphysical. It is a law. It is a rule. I will not sell you something that I don't believe is the very best quality that I haven't tested and used myself. So we usually only do this once a year, but we did it a few months ago. They had to stop because they ran out of food because it's freshly prepared up in Utah. I had to stop, and they've built back up again, and they said they could probably run it for a week or so, depending on how past sales are. So I called them yesterday and twisted their arm. I said, instead of 15% off, I want to go ahead and do 20 to 40% off. In fact, a lot of the InfoWars Select food at InfoWarsStore.com is 40% off. But some of the deals are 20. This is the best deal you're going to find anywhere. It's My Patriot Supply food. It's private labeled by us. Our sticker's put on it, and then we're legally, through contracts, allowed to go lower than anybody else does. And yes, this undercuts the entire market. I don't care. I want to sell the most, be able to fund the operation, and have you love it and know you did a great deal, because that just boosts my karma, mojo. I don't get into new age stuff. I just use those terms because I'm a God-fearing person. I want to have the best deals. I'm a capitalist. So InfoWarsStore.com, a FEMA report predicts up to 395% increase in food prices that could trigger mass unrest. Now is the time to stock up on storable food for you and your family that you trust. Get 20 to 40% off on retail price of all InfoWars Select storable food, InfoWarsStore.com, to help you get ready. All InfoWars Select foods have a shelf life of 25 years and are made in the USA. Get started preparing before food prices skyrocket, as they may do with all the inflation. Get 20 to 40% off all InfoWars Select storable food on InfoWarsStore.com for a limited time while supplies last. InfoWarsStore.com or InfoWarsSelect.com takes you right there. And by the way, I've gone ahead. I'm going to sign the contract today. It's $30,000 for the RNC. It is $30,000 for the DNC. And we have hired aircraft for multiple days, 4 flights a day, with a gigantic banner itself that cost, was it $5,000? Hillary for President 2016, but really bold. Now, I think we're going to pay for another banner, too, that just says Infowars.com. But we sold the shirts at $5 and sold out thousands of them, because that's at cost. I mean, basically make no money on it. I think it's like 50 cents or something, because we make 50 cents on shipping or something, like Weldon was telling me. We need to fund this, so I need everybody to buy the shirts. We got 5,000 more of them, of the new design, Hillary for President 2016, at InfoWarsStore.com. This is the new design with Infowars.com on the right shoulder in red. It's the same handsome design that everybody loves, but it's been tweaked because it's a collector's edition. They're $19.95. I need everybody to buy them at that price. Even if you already bought one, please buy another for your spouse, your neighbor, whatever, to spread the word. This meme is really causing the globalist problems, and I want to take the money from this, because we don't really have it in the budget, but I just said, you know what, I'm going to ask folks to buy the shirts full price, and I think you're going to come through. Regardless, I'm going to sign the contract today. I'm going to sign the contract today for Cleveland. If we sell these in the next few weeks and I get the money for another 30,000 or so, I'm going to do Philadelphia. And look, will this save the world? No, but resistance is victory. This is one more action against the frickin' Chinese communist agent. I mean, literally, that's what she is. They'll be our president. But it's okay, because Jimmy Fallon makes jokes about the TPP being cool with Obama having foreign secret corporations run us. I mean, we are a joke, people. I want to just turn this around. Also, support our local affiliates, become a sponsor, support their sponsors, or give them a donation. They are so important. Whatever you do, spread the word about Infowars.com. The epic, historic Donald Trump speech is straight ahead. It is so powerful. Where he calls out the foreign agent, Hillary. All right, into the next hour, I'm going to be playing large excerpts of the historic Donald Trump speech. I'm also going to open the phones up for folks that want to specifically talk about the fact that we've been taken over by 21st century economic warfare. They've now established foreign, multinational, secret bureaus that are above the law, that are dictating our laws, just like the EU did to England. And we need to educate the public about that process and start withdrawing from it. They sit there and tell us that they're providing us everything. They sit there and tell us that they'll collapse our economy if we don't submit to them. Well, they plunged the stock market for 4 or 5 days. That didn't work. So now they've pumped it back up. It's totally rigged. And the good news is, in a new national poll, 70+% of Americans say they think the economy's rigged. Well, there's no think about it. It's admitted now that the Federal Reserve is private, that the interest rates are rigged, that the stock market's rigged. All of it's out in the open. It's just the dumb trendies have been told any knowledge is funny and something to be laughed at. Well, let's move on from those poor snot noses. But a lot of folks don't move on. They actually decide to feed on them. And it's a very, very sad thing to watch. But let's get rolling with this. The toll-free number to join us on air, specifically on economic warfare and Donald Trump's speech, 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. By the way, first-time callers in the first round of calls. Be first time, have a good phone, please. 800-259-9231. Now, this is a man standing up to the communist Chinese, who are the most important special interest with the globalists that have destroyed this country and made us dependent. And he's saying we're under economic warfare by design. They threaten to make it worse. We're already under attack. And he says she is an agent of that trade war against America. She is literally an agent of the Saudis and the communist Chinese. She is an arrogant James Bond villain. I mean, she is unbelievable. And she thinks the gimmick that she's a woman will make it okay. What was that old thing they said? They said, well, I knew Jack Kennedy, and you're no Jack Kennedy to, that was to George Herbert Walker Bush's running mate, Dan Quayle. Well, I've known a lot of women, Hillary, and you're no woman. You're a witch. Now let's go ahead and go out with 2 minutes of Trump. Here it is.
Hillary Clinton and her campaign of fear will try to spread the lie that these actions will start a trade war. We already have a trade war, and we're losing badly, badly.
That's right. You're already in a fight, folks. Fight back!
She has it completely backwards. Hillary Clinton unleashed a trade war against the American worker when she supported one terrible deal after another. From NAFTA to China to South Korea, it doesn't matter. No matter where she went, the American worker was hurt. And you will be hurt worse than ever before if she becomes president.
And they gave money to her foundation. She sold us out for a few $100 million. It's unbelievable. We're so wide open. We're such a
Trump
joke.
administration will end that war by getting a fair deal for the American people and the American worker. The era of economic surrender will finally be over. It'll be over. You're not going to see it anymore. Although I can't guarantee it, because after me, they'll probably start doing it again. But we will have 4 and maybe 8 great productive years, and we'll never go back, and we'll make sure we never go back.
The American system, the elite said over 200 years ago they had to stop it because they can't compete with it. This is just a resurgence. We're going to go to break. Let's take it back to the beginning. I want to play it again and then play large swaths of it. Folks, understand me. Understand me. This is real. This is historic. They wouldn't allow this to be said, okay? He is out of control. It's beautiful. We'll be back. They were strong. So they weren't threatened by others being strong. They based their systems on technological development, innovation, trailblazing. The globalists based their system on subterfuge, intrigue, and taking over systems. So many times in life, trying to develop funding mechanisms for InfoWars and just dealing with people out in the business world, you run into folks that actually want to develop economies and want to innovate and want to have 20, 30-year relationships with you. And they're compulsive about being honorable. And those are always the people you see that actually run the local society and employ the people and put up with all the garbage, but have a sense of honor. And then there's always the corporate and governmental types that are there to just manage and bring in bureaucracies that then sit on top of you and feed off of you. And they're very unvirtuous type groups. And that's what the New World Order is. Donald Trump has given one of the most epic speeches ever. I backed it up a few minutes. We're going to play it again. I'm going to come back in the next segment and play like 5, 6, 7 minutes of it. It's so powerful. where he says Hillary is an agent of a trade war against us of China. Talk about throwing down the gauntlet